Ever wonder why scam calls feel so specific? Why they somehow already know your name, your city, or even your address? It's usually because of data brokers. These companies collect your personal information from across the internet and sell it online, usually without you even realizing it. Things like your phone number, home address, family members, and even places you've lived. And once your information is out there, it spreads fast. That's where Aura comes in. Aura automatically finds your personal information on data broker sites and submits removal requests for you. Then Aura keeps monitoring to help make sure your information stays gone. You can even see where your data was found and removed. And Aura goes beyond data removal. You also get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. Right now, you can try Aura free at aura.com/hidden. That's aura.com/hidden.
Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who want to build million-dollar businesses without sacrificing their health, relationships, or happiness, who understand that in order to build their empire, they need a solid foundation, and that the more they are thriving, the more their business is thriving too. This show brings you the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Gabert, the scientist turned mindset and high-performance coach for entrepreneurs, and I help you get wired for success. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Wired for Success podcast, where we talk about all things science, self-development, and entrepreneurship that help you get to that next level of success in your life and business. Get ready for another exciting interview episode. My guest today is LinkedIn author, expert, and trainer Daniel Alfon. Daniel was one of the first to open a LinkedIn account in early 2004. And since then, he published his book, Build a LinkedIn Profile for Business Success, spoke across virtual and physical stages in 3 continents, and helped thousands of entrepreneurs and consultants grow their businesses. And I know that lead generation is such a big struggle for so many entrepreneurs. So I'm excited to bring in a LinkedIn expert today to talk about ways that you can leverage this platform to generate more leads for your business. So welcome, Daniel, and thank you so much for being on my show today.
Thank you, Claudia. I'm glad to be part of the Wired for Success podcast. Thank you very much.
It's great to have you. So for those of you who are regular listeners, my first question won't come as a surprise. Daniel, can you tell us a little bit about why and how you became a LinkedIn expert? What makes this platform so special to you?
LinkedIn is a platform that has close to 1 billion users, and amazingly, many of them don't know it well enough.
Right. And how did you get started?
It's counterintuitive in so many ways. Like every class I ran, when I asked people where would be the right place to do this, everyone points to one direction, and by the end of the workshop, they know it's never there. It's very counterintuitive. It's very powerful when you look under the hood, but it takes time, and many LinkedIn users, including high performing entrepreneurs, use it and then forget about it for some time. When they pivot, they would use it. When they need to look someone up, they would use it. When they look for another position, they would use it, but then they forget about it and they only use it occasionally. And if I could suggest one very simple method of leveraging it, then instead of us spending hours, 20 hours this week and then forget about it for 6 months, 5 minutes a week for 6 months would amount to better leads, a better work-life balance, more revenues, and even less time.
That sounds doable, but how did you get started? How did you figure this out for yourself?
I was in sales, in international sales, and I found that LinkedIn enabled me to really shorten my sales cycle, because I knew the name of the person I needed to reach out in the North America distributors I was catering to. And then at one point I was looking for a playbook that would explain how to use this. And truth to be told, I couldn't find any playbook because it was too early. And I decided to create my own playbook. And ever since, LinkedIn has changed radically, and many more people are using it. I dived into LinkedIn because there was no one I knew who could guide me or train me about LinkedIn.
And what has it enabled you to do this platform? Can you paint a picture for us?
I think I would look at LinkedIn as a professional, conservative, slow system.
Right.
And networking is, in my eyes, the single most important thing to remember, the most important skill for entrepreneurs to nurture, because it doesn't matter if they pivot and they run another business or they grow their business tenfold. Their network is likely to help them gain more clients, find new interesting opportunities. And unfortunately, many people remember the network only when they need someone.
That's so true.
So I would,
Yeah, that's like the friends in real life too, right? You have the good time friends, and then you still have the friends that maybe stick around when you're not feeling that great. But you
you're
can't.
absolutely right.
Yeah, you always have to nurture your relationships, no matter what's going on. And that is if you want to keep your friends and your network. So,
It's,
I mean, with
yeah.
with the pandemic and everything that's been going on during the last couple of years, so many people have had a big impact because they're running brick and mortar businesses and stuff like that. I think it's probably easier for someone like us who runs an online business. But I'm curious, what impact has the pandemic had on your business and personal life over the last couple of years? Is that something that has affected you a lot or not that much at all?
Initially, it looked like, a world changing, and that nothing will continue to be the same. But looking back, I think I received many gifts from the pandemic, because it enabled me, instead of commuting for 2 hours a day, to spend more time with my family, to learn more, to read more, to listen to more music, to have a more balanced life. And I was fortunate enough that all my training sessions, instead of being physical, they just moved online to Zoom platforms, to Teams, to similar platforms. And once when you described what happened to you earlier, like a year ago, and the decision you took about the pain you had, and what lessons could be learned from that, we don't choose the events and what happens that we can't control. The only thing we control is our reaction.
So true.
And what you've done there is amazing. It's the best way even to recover physically, is to decide that you want to do something out of it. Because you and I could discuss COVID for hours, and would not change anything. But when you decide you want to make the best out of it, you will find hidden opportunities there.
So true. So true. It's really about how you look at the situation and how you choose to work with that, because there's always an angle that you can find that makes it a little bit better than what it appears on the surface. Now, the new year is still so young, so I guess it's still okay to ask, are you someone who sets New Year's resolutions?
No, no. Like my
No?
New Year's resolution was a couple of years ago not to have New Year resolutions.
And you stuck with that.
Yeah, I mean, some of my friends do, but it doesn't. I see no incentive in January 1st or any other date. It's because our businesses are not affected by that, and I do try to, even when I have a long-term objective, and it would take a lot of time to together try to remember the first step, the baby step that is a lot easier to achieve, and I will get you closer to what you'd like to achieve. Under promise to yourself and over deliver.
That's a good one. Well, I always find that the start of a new year has a certain magic about it. It's this blank slate, like a fresh canvas to create something wonderful on and to initiate change. I know there's nothing special about the date, but still, I look at it, it's like a new piece of art that we can create. So we, I mean, we all have things in our lives that we struggle with, or maybe some bad habits that we know of and we know we should replace with good ones. But it's sometimes so hard because we're stuck in a rut and we just don't know how to get out of it. So for some people, it's getting more exercise. For others, it's starting a healthy diet. For others, again, it might be making more time for family and friends, or simply not being so hard on themselves all the time. So if you could make just one struggle go away overnight, what would it be?
Um, I think I'd refer to the imposter syndrome that I have, and I see also in when I work with leaders and managers, people who run multi-million dollar businesses, and they think, and I found myself thinking that in a second everyone will realize that it wasn't me. It was, I was lucky enough to be in the right place where like something happened. And that's actually one of the reasons I decided to focus on one channel, LinkedIn, because at one time I realized social is going to explode, and I wasn't interested in trying to become, a generalist. And one trigger was that I had my imposter syndrome, and I thought that by focusing or niching down on one platform, there are less chances of people finding out that I don't know anything, if you like. Um, and I'm happy with the result. I hope I'm overcoming the imposter syndrome, but I'm very happy with the fact that I chose to specialize and not to be everything to everyone. Um,
That is definitely a great goal to work towards. I mean, imposter syndrome is something that affects so many people, and it affected me too for such a long time because I changed careers completely, right? So I was a lab biologist and then I started something in the online space, and all that it brings all those self-doubts and it brings like the imposter syndrome and everything that comes with it. And it's been a long road or a long journey to get into the depth of the subconscious mind and everything. That's what I do with my clients as well. We rewire those internal beliefs because, believe it or not, they dictate everything that you do. When you hold certain beliefs, it influences how you show up in the world. Because, as you said, if you think that people are going to find out that you are not the specialist that you pretend to be, right? It makes you shy away from opportunities. It makes you play small. And that's exactly what I help my clients overcome, because once you really rewire your brain and you change those internal belief systems, it frees up so many opportunities that you haven't seen before. So I think it's really important to work on that. And I think it's also important to understand that goal setting is something that helps us gain more clarity. So, why I like to do goal setting, especially at the beginning of a year, for instance, is it's like putting a destination on a map. I mean, without putting the destination on the map, how do you know you're making progress and you're even going in the right direction? So when I work with clients, I make sure they know what they're working toward and why they're working toward those goals, because that's what gives them clarity and motivation. But clarity and motivation alone still don't get you where you want to go. You need to translate those goals into an actual action plan so you know how you're going to get to those results. So my question for you would be, how do you approach your goals? How do you have maybe a certain strategy that works well for you to translate your vision into actual results?
It's a tough question. I'll try to say this. When I initially started out, in my business, there were ups and downs, and I couldn't cope very well with the downs. And since I started my own business, I think I'm getting a lot better in managing and remembering that the feast or famine phenomenon that we may experience due to pandemic or external circumstances is actually a gift. I have the opportunity to know that when I'm overworked and I need to turn clients away, I know that it will not last for 10 years. And when suddenly three clients bail out and are fired or need to pivot, I now have a list of things I want to work on, and if I have time, I'll do them. So like the goal setting, I'm never caught off guard and asking myself, okay, now I've got a gift of an hour. What would I like to do now? And that enabled me to feel more balanced, less stressed. It's also something I had to convince myself of, and it's a familiar, the board, like my wife had to be had other opinions about the feast and the famine. And you, I wanted to ask you as a podcast strategist, when managers or CEOs decide that they want to launch a podcast, have you found that some of them would like to control the everything about the podcast? Do you help them try to be a bit more flexible about it, or less scripted, or is it something that no manager actually thinks?
I think the way to approach it is something that you described quite nicely, because it's staying responsive instead of getting reactive. So what it happens to a lot of people is they get triggered. They get triggered by other people. They get triggered by certain situations. They get triggered by negative emotions, and they feel the need to control everything. So when I work with them, I help them relax into that situation, become comfortable being uncomfortable, so that they can create this space between the awareness and their reaction, so they can stay flexible and responsive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, be comfortable with being uncomfortable is a great way to put it. It's challenging, but it's, yeah, that's one takeaway I like. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now let's talk about LinkedIn. So when I compare LinkedIn to other big platforms like Facebook and Instagram, to me personally, at least, it feels a lot more professional and a lot less spammy. So don't get me wrong, I like to connect and grow my network, but I don't want to do it in a way where I bombard my new connections with links to my offers and say, buy this, buy that, without even bothering to say hello to them. But that's exactly what so many people do, right? Just the other week, I connected with someone on Facebook, and literally, the first message I ever got from that person was, "Hey, you would be a great fit for the mastermind that I'm launching." And all I'm thinking is, first, you don't know me, I don't know you, so maybe the right thing to do would be to say hi and introduce yourself first. And secondly, you have no idea what I need help with right now, and or if I'm even looking for a mastermind to join right now. So what this tells me is that you don't really care about me or my results, you just care about selling your offer. But that is a general sales mindset issue. So for everyone out there who's listening today, I hope that this is not how you approach your new collections. The internet is an extension of the real world, and similar rules apply for building relationships. If you would not walk up to a stranger and say, hey, you would be a great fit for my new offer, then maybe don't do it online either. But I'm digressing, and we'll get back to LinkedIn best practices in a moment. But before we do, I wanted to ask you something else. I've heard from a lot of people whose Facebook or Instagram accounts just got shut down from one day to the next for no apparent reason. I haven't heard those kind of stories about LinkedIn yet. Now, do you think LinkedIn is a kind of safer platform for entrepreneurs because it's more forgiving and doesn't shut down people's profiles that easily? Or is it that people are generally more respectful on LinkedIn and therefore it doesn't have to shut down so many accounts? Or maybe I just haven't heard those stories yet. What are your thoughts on that?
That's an excellent question, and I think many entrepreneurs are naturally more careful when they do something on LinkedIn, because you have to remember we've built our reputation for many years, and the worst thing that could happen is to show up unprofessionally on the world's largest professional stage. So a lot of entrepreneurs are too afraid even to do something on LinkedIn. They would rather avoid it or be like middle of the road and don't commit to anything. There is another angle I think our listeners should consider, and that accounts that get restricted are often accounts where users have gone against LinkedIn's terms and conditions and have used all sorts of automation. So let's get back to and I realize it was on Facebook, but the same process of auto-connecting with 3,000 people and sending them the same message, just replacing their first name with Claudia, their last name with Garbett, and in Bavaria instead of Idaho, and having a sequence like this will not bring business to most people. Mm-hmm. Because our currency is our network and what people, and our reputation, what people think about us. And if you use an automated tool, then at one point LinkedIn will crack it down and will actually restrict your account. And if you've been on LinkedIn for years, it could be a business disaster, because you would no longer be able to control it. You will be locked out. You will not be able to add a single new connection without knowing their email address. So try to stay away from automation. And on the other hand, do something on LinkedIn. Okay, don't try to avoid it altogether, because you have to play to win.
Mm. So I think LinkedIn has limited the number of connection requests that you can send out per week or per month, right? Do you know the current numbers? And so what happens when you exceed them? I haven't tried that.
You certainly can't. It's 100 a week, and even that is quite enough for most people. There's another limit we could also mention, and that's the total number of connections you may have.
Oh.
And to date, it's 30K.
30K. Okay, that's a big enough number, I guess.
And of course, LinkedIn has launched the creator mode, enabling you to have people follow you, and then you no longer have that restriction. But there are limits to the invitations you can send on any given week, and even to the number of connections you may have. Actually, it's a good place to discuss everyone's connection strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And most entrepreneurs simply don't have one.
Before we get into that, you said that you just talked about the creator mode. And I know that I enabled that at some point. But is it a good thing to wait to enable it until you have reached the 30K threshold and enable it afterwards? Or what are the pros and cons of enabling the creator mode?
Okay, so it's two separate questions. I'll try to discuss both of them. In my opinion, you don't have to reach 30,000 connections in order to turn the creator mode. The relevant question would be, is the creator mode good for you or not?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's right for you and you have 200 or 2,000 connections, turn it on. If it's not right for you, then it doesn't matter like how many connections you have. Are you producing content, educational content that you are going to share on LinkedIn? And if that's the case and you don't want to connect with too many people, then you could use that creator mode. It also enables you to see, like, when people visit your profile, they would see what you talk about. So when I visit your profile, it says talks about mindset, science, productivity, entrepreneurship, and high performance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an additional benefit because you've selected excellent terms, and overachievers and entrepreneurs who see this, they're attracted to, if they haven't heard about you and they discovered you through some content you published or a Wired for Success episode you shared, then they're likely to be interested in to scroll down and to check out the featured section that you have, and eventually either decide to follow you or go to your website, and there they could find interesting things, and they would sign up for the daily affirmations for entrepreneurs. And the whole journey began because what you've created at the very top of your profile was interesting for them.
Right.
There are also downsides for the creator mode, but I think we covered the essential things to remember.
Thank you so much for those tips. Now let's get to those best practices for entrepreneurs who want to grow their businesses using LinkedIn. How should they approach growing their network? What are your best tips for growing the network strategically? Because they can't just reach out to anyone and go connect, right? You have to have a strategy.
You know what? Even before connecting, let's think about the order or the sequence. Your profile needs to convert before you reach out to people.
Right. Good point.
And thousands of capable entrepreneurs have 2,000 or 5,000 connections, but their profile doesn't say a lot about them. Mm-hmm. So think about this way. Before you try to grow your network, make sure that your own profile converts your ideal reader. So who could be your ideal reader if you're in a SaaS startup and you're looking for companies growing, unicorns growing in the East Coast? So you would try to make sure your profile has the visual and text information that would make those people engage, or the content has to resonate with them, just like what you do on your banner and your headline and everything people see on your profile. Once your profile converts, then the second step would be to considering enlarging your network. And I've seen amazing entrepreneurs who get business out of LinkedIn with 249 connections. Mm-hmm. And I must say, I also met entrepreneurs that had 25,000 connections and could not show a single dollar originating from LinkedIn. So the network or the size of the network is a means and not an end.
So true.
If you're looking for exposure, then you have to go for the quantity. And if you'd like to be introduced to the buyer or the prospect, then you should stick to people you know. And it's basically a dichotomy between exposure and trust. Would you like to be the best connected, or would you rather be the most connected?
The best connected.
What do you think most people, what is the choice that most entrepreneurs would make, in your opinion?
They would probably choose more connections because they think they get more exposure. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
initially they would want both.
right.
So they would start with having a qualitative network of people they know well, and then they would think that they need to get to many connections. The trap is that many of them move away from quality without ever reaching quantity.
Mm. Mm.
So if you want to go to the quantity, that means 30,000, because 2,000 or 4,000 it will not get you a lot of exposure on LinkedIn.
Okay. And how does the LinkedIn algorithm, how does it show your content to people? Is it all an engagement thing? So the more people engage with your content, the more people get to see it, or how does it work?
Yes, you're right. When there are a number of ways you could share content on LinkedIn. It could be post, it could be native video, it could be events, it could be LinkedIn Live, it could be LinkedIn articles. So each would have a different objective and could be shown to different people. You could also try to leverage groups who were discussing connections.
Hmm.
But sometimes your prospects are not necessarily your connections. Like when you moved from science to online, then maybe part of your network was, scientific.
Yeah.
So one thing you could do on LinkedIn is say, my network is people I know, but they're not necessarily my clients.
Exactly.
And if you look for groups, LinkedIn groups where your clients hang out, then you would be able to share your educational content with them through the groups.
Mm.
And most people see their connection as their clients, and sometimes it doesn't make sense.
Right. And I've also seen that you can have some LinkedIn like live events or something like that. Is that something that we should consider doing more? Like, is it like Facebook live events? I
It's,
haven't
it's
tried.
yeah, LinkedIn has relaunched events in general and LinkedIn live events. It could be fascinating. It could be interesting if video is part of your content strategy, and it should be if you have a content strategy, if you're producing content. So this chat could be, or other interviews you have, or other summits you could participate on, could be LinkedIn live events. You would have the ability to share the event ahead of time, to share it with your connections, to use a third party like YouTube or Vimeo or other tools to actually broadcast the video itself, to have a number of panelists and speakers, and to have the live chat. It's similar to YouTube Premiere or YouTube Live. Maybe the one thing, one advantage or one good point about it is that everything you and I do on LinkedIn is shows our name. Okay, so if you added a remark or a chat, or you signed up for that event, then whoever organized the event will see you and Wired for Success. Whereas if 10 people like a YouTube video you uploaded, you do see the figures,
Hmm.
but you can't tell where they are and whether they're in Bavaria or San Francisco, or entrepreneurs who have just launched their business. And LinkedIn will show you the demographics and the individuals who have contributed to the LinkedIn Live event.
Oh, that's interesting. So you could set up an event like a summit or a round table, and can you then how do you invite people to that? Can you just invite everyone on your list, or can you have different lists, or do you go through it individually and have to invite people name by name, or how does it work?
Excellent. The earlier you start thinking about it, the easier it will be. Okay, so if you plan a summit, say 3 months down the road, you could have a number of ways to make sure you have a large attendee list. And if it's a summit and you have a number of speakers, then instead of trying to do everything yourself, the speakers and the panelists should
Sure.
be part of your pod, if you like. They need to say, I'm speaking on Claudia Summit about habits of entrepreneurs who want to be successful, and we'll talk about A, B, and C, and I'll do my talk about X or Y. They also have their own networks, just like you have your own network, but you could also share the link itself or the event itself ahead of time outside of LinkedIn.
Sure.
As you know, LinkedIn is a powerful tool, but it doesn't mean that it's the only tool. If you have a mailing list, then do share it with your mailing list ahead of time so people will sign up. And if if your Facebook page has lots of followers, use it. If one of the speakers is an Instagram king, then or queen, let them use their own network to do it. And the closer you get to the event itself, you'll have more details about the speakers and the talk, and you want to create some sort of FOMO. Like, I don't want to miss your event because I see that interesting people are going to speak on it.
Right. And can you record it as well? Can you make it, or can you make it a paid event? Does it always have to be a free event? Can it be a paid event? And can it be recorded? What are the the settings there?
Okay, so it is recorded by default, and
Right.
it stays there publicly. So
Okay.
when I participated in LinkedIn live events, then the link is there, and you can always access it, whether you participated or whether you discovered after the fact. Okay, the
Right.
summit happened, and a month ago you could still see the event itself. I haven't seen paid LinkedIn live events.
Huh. Okay.
Okay, I do remember that Zoom launched a couple of interesting things there, but LinkedIn itself, I haven't seen a way to monetize the event itself. You could have a hybrid strategy where the event will not be on LinkedIn at all, and you would simply use LinkedIn as one traffic source to make people sign up and pay. But there is no way for you to restrict attendees. So that basically that prevents you from charging for the event and only allowing people who have paid to join the stage.
But that doesn't have to be a bad thing, though. It's still good for exposure and for growing your network and generating those new leads. So it's just something to consider when someone is thinking about maybe doing something like a live event on LinkedIn. So now that we know what people should do, they should have their nice profiles. The profiles should be set up professionally. They should talk to the people they want to attract. Now let's talk about growing that network without being spammy and annoying. So what would be the best strategy to do that?
If you consider your funnel, then the funnel starts with a discovery phase where people discover your content or your summit or your podcast. And there are many ways to grow your list and your business without adding connections. So initially, the thought is I have to have a large list of connections in order to sell to them. But like you said about the automatic message you got from Facebook, it doesn't always work, and in many cases it won't really work. So the real question is, how do I grow my business, and where do I use LinkedIn in order to help me shorten that? And connection is just one solution. It's not a bad solution, but if we only focus on connections, we miss lots and lots of opportunities. Let me give you an example. When I looked you up, I could see that we share a mutual connection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I connected with people that I didn't really know, then I wouldn't be able to ask that person about Wired for Success or about Claudia Gabriel, because I wouldn't feel comfortable doing this. On the other hand, if I connected with people I knew well, then I could, in some cases, gain a meaningful introduction to you. And that meaningful introduction would happen not because of my name, but that mutual a friend of ours, or that mutual acquaintance of ours, has agreed to make the introduction, has asked you about it, and that's how interesting for you. And I found that referrals are the top source of my income in my business.
Right.
So when I want referrals, I found that referrals are less price sensitive. They come initially almost as warm leads because someone has spoken with them and told them about the way you do business. And when you decide you want referrals, then the quality of your network is way more important than the quantity of your network. 90% of my revenues are through LinkedIn. I don't have 1,000 connections.
Right. Yeah.
But you have to make a choice.
Yeah. Quality has, I mean, always quality before quantity, right?
Not always, it could work for some, but it comes with a price.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree, especially for people who sell high ticket, who don't just sell a $9 ebook or something. I think when you sell something like a low ticket $9 ebook, for instance, then maybe you can get away with focusing on quantity over quality. But when you're selling high ticket and you're selling something that requires you to have a deeper personal connection, then it's really important to get to know your network and focus on the quality. So great tips. Thank you so much for sharing. And last but not least, where can our listeners find you online if they want to learn more about you and the work that you do?
Thank you very much, Claudia. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. And you've asked questions I wasn't asked in many years. DanielAlfon.com is the place to go. I have long form articles there who could shed some light on LinkedIn myths and LinkedIn realities. There's a giveaway there of improving your profile headline, and I send one email a month with a LinkedIn tip. So my website would be the place to go.
Perfect. Again, thank you so much, Daniel, for sharing all those tips and insights with us today. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much, Claudia.
Take care and talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show or share it with a friend. That way you can support the show and help me reach and support other entrepreneurs like yourself as well. If you would like my help to figure out how you can go from overwhelmed and overworked hustler to empowered and confident leader, check out my website at www.wiredforsuccess.solutions and book a free 20-minute strategy session with me. Can't wait to help you get wired for success. Until next time, take care. Bye.